This video is sponsored by InVideo AI. In the pre-dawn darkness of December 6, 1942, a massive assembly of aircraft stood poised on airfields across Norfolk, England. 48 Lockheed Venturas, 36 Douglas Bostons, and 10 de Havilland Mosquitos, the full might of the RAF's No. 2 group, readied for an unexpected and very special target. Wing Commander James Pelly-Fry climbed into his Boston bomber, and at 11:15 a.m. he led the first wave into the sky, igniting Operation Oyster. Within 15 minutes, 93 more aircraft followed, forming a massive armada carrying one of the most dangerous and destructive bomb types developed during the war. Their objective, the sprawling Philips Radio Works in Eindhoven, deep in Nazi-occupied Netherlands. Not only was it producing nearly 1/3 of the vacuum tubes used in most Nazi radio equipment, but it also housed a secret research facility. The Allies deemed its destruction so important that they were willing to take the extreme risk of conducting the raid in broad daylight. Reaching Eindhoven meant flying 200 miles into the teeth of German air defenses. With no fighter escort, the bombers would be alone and vulnerable. Their only protection, a plan to fly at a mere 100 feet, skimming the waves of the North Sea to slip under German radar. And if they actually made it to the site, they had only 10 minutes to get in and get out. In the world of aviation, innovation has always been the key to reaching new heights. From the Wright brothers' first flight to the SR-71 Blackbird breaking speed records, progress in aerospace has been driven by visionaries pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Today, we're witnessing a similar revolution in video creation with InVideo AI v3. This new update is set to be a game changer, soaring high above other AI video products. Imagine having a co-pilot that not only assists you, but can also fly the entire mission completely based on your commands. That's InVideo AI v3. It's not just an editor, it's a complete video creation system that can generate entire full-length videos from scratch using simple text prompts, bringing your ideas to life. Let's take it for a test flight. We asked InVideo AI v3 to create a 1-minute fiction-to-reality video of a diver exploring the trenches of Mariana and encountering all kinds of unexpected things in the deep. Watch what it produced in just a few minutes. How cool is that? And that's just the first sortie. From here, you can edit anything you like, and even add your own voice. The possibilities are endless, and the sky is the limit. If you haven't checked out InVideo AI's current version already, go and explore it right now for free using the link in the description. Paid plans start at just $20 per month. What's more, if you use our code DARKSKIES50, you'll get 2 times the number of video creation minutes in the first month. Don't hesitate. Let your video ideas fly to new heights today. The seeds of Operation Oyster were sown in the fall of 1942 as the Allied war effort in Europe faced a critical challenge. Despite setbacks on the Eastern Front, Hitler's Germany remained a powerful force. A key component of its strength lay in the occupied Netherlands, where the Philips electronics factories in Eindhoven churned out vital equipment for the Nazi war effort. Intelligence reports indicated that Philips was responsible for producing 1/3 of the radio tubes used by the German military. Moreover, the company was believed to be conducting crucial research into new radar technology that could potentially tip the balance of the air war in favor of the Axis powers. The strategic importance of the Philips works was not lost on Allied planners. They recognized that a successful strike against this industrial complex could deliver a significant blow to German military communications and radar capabilities. However, the target's location, deep in occupied territory, presented a daunting challenge. Air Vice Marshal Sir Arthur Cunningham, tasked with devising a plan to neutralize the Philips factories, faced a complex set of problems. Eindhoven lay beyond the range of fighter escorts, making a conventional daylight raid extremely risky. A night bombing operation, while safer for the crews, risked widespread collateral damage in the densely populated city. Therefore, Cunningham turned to the No. 2 group, the sole daylight bomber formation within RAF Bomber Command. Consisting of 10 medium bomber squadrons based across Norfolk, this specialized group typically conducted small-scale raids against coastal targets and shipping in northern France. Now, they were about to embark on their most daring mission yet. The scope of Operation Oyster, approved on November 9, 1942, was unprecedented. It would harness the full might of Second Group's 10 squadrons, bringing together a diverse fleet of medium bombers. The sturdy Lockheed Ventura, the reliable Douglas Boston, the versatile North American B-25 Mitchell, and the swift Havilland Mosquito. Each aircraft brought its own set of strengths to the table, but integrating them into a cohesive strike force would prove to be a formidable challenge. On November 9, 1942, the ambitious plan received approval under the codename Operation Oyster, with training beginning 8 days later. The crews quickly discovered the unique challenges of their mission. Ventura pilots learned that the backwash from other aircraft could cause their planes to skid dangerously at low altitudes, leaving no room for error. The slightest mistake could send them plummeting into the North Sea or crashing into the ground. Initially, planners envisioned the Venturas leading the attack, followed by Bostons at one target and Mitchells and Mosquitoes at another. All aircraft would approach at low level, climbing to 1,500 feet just before the target for a shallow dive attack. However, the first full-scale practice revealed significant flaws in this strategy. Aircraft arrived over the target from various directions and at different times, with the Venturas appearing in a particularly disorganized fashion. It became clear that more time was needed for aircraft to form up by type. Moreover, the Mitchell crews proved unprepared for the demanding nature of the mission. Planners also realized that if any of the Venturas attacked first with incendiaries, the resulting smoke would obscure the target for subsequent waves. In response to these issues, the order of attack was revised. Now, the Bostons would lead the attack, followed by the Mitchells and Mosquitoes, with the Venturas bringing up the rear. Takeoff times were adjusted to allow more time for formation. Subsequent trial runs showed marked improvement, with crews practicing low-level bombing at 1,000 and 1,500 feet in various formations. Despite these improvements, a decision was made to exclude the inexperienced Mitchells, trimming the force to 8 battle-ready squadrons. Wing Commander James Pelly-Fry of 88th Squadron, an experienced pilot who had flown in Africa, was chosen to lead the attack. The raid would be conducted entirely at low level to maximize the element of surprise, a stark contrast to the medium-altitude circus raids typically flown by No. 2 Group. The attack force now consisted of 48 Venturas, 36 Bostons, and 10 Mosquitoes. They would fly in pairs in echelon formation to starboard, with no more than 6 aircraft grouped together due to the difficulties of large formation flying at treetop level. If the mission were to have any hope of succeeding, timing would be crucial. The entire attack window was compressed to a mere 10 minutes, with Bostons unleashing their payload at 12:30 p.m., Mosquitoes following at 12:32, and Venturas delivering the coup de grace at 12:36. To further stack the odds in their favor, Allied planners orchestrated a series of diversionary attacks. American B-24 Liberators and B-17 Flying Fortresses would strike at Abbeville and Lille, while a squadron of P-51 Mustangs would conduct a lightning raid near Alkmaar, all designed to draw enemy fighters away from Eindhoven. On the evening of December 2nd, crews received their final briefing. Security was tight, with bases locked down and all communication restricted. However, unsuitable weather conditions on December 3rd forced a delay. The crews waited anxiously as the days passed, until finally, on Sunday, December 6th, the skies over Eindhoven cleared, and the mission was given the green light at last. As dawn broke, the men of Second Group prepared to embark on the most ambitious and perilous mission of their careers. Operation Oyster was about to begin. In the pre-dawn darkness of December 6, 1942, airfields across Norfolk buzzed with activity. Ground crews swarmed over the aircraft, making last-minute checks and adjustments. Pilots pored over their maps one final time, committing every detail of their route to memory. At precisely 11:15 a.m., Wing Commander Pelly-Fry lifted off in his Boston bomber and led 88th Squadron into the fray, marking the official start of the mission. Over the next 15 minutes, the rest of the 94 aircraft took to the skies, forming up into their designated groups. The formation set course for the English Channel, flying at an altitude of just 100 feet to avoid German radar. As they crossed the coastline near Southwold and headed out over the water, many of the airmen felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were now committed to their mission. There was no turning back. The low-level flight posed its own challenges. The pilots had to maintain constant vigilance, watching for ships, birds, and other hazards. The slipstream from the lead aircraft buffeted those following, making formation flying a grueling task. Despite these difficulties, the crews pressed on, knowing that their very lives depended on staying together. As they neared the Dutch coast, tension mounted as the crews steeled themselves for whatever lay ahead, ready to face the enemy and deliver their cargo. At approximately 12:15 p.m., the Allied formation crossed the Dutch coastline. Their arrival took the German defenders completely by surprise. As the bombers streaked inland at treetop level, the few anti-aircraft batteries that managed to react sent up only scattered and ineffective fire. This element of surprise, however, came at a cost. Flying so low exposed the aircraft to unexpected hazards. 21st Squadron pilot, Flight Lieutenant Albert Ricketts, later recalled the moment one of his crew members came in for a shock. Quote, "On both sides of the Ventura were 4 small windows. A bird came in through one of them and hit Ron Thompson in the unmentionables. It wasn't until he saw the feathers that he realized it wasn't his blood." As the Allied formation approached Eindhoven, the sprawling Phillips Radio Works materialized through the haze. At precisely 12:30 p.m., Wing Commander James Pelly-Fry's Boston led the charge, screaming toward the Emma Single factory. His bombs whistled earthward, their detonations sending shockwaves through the air as he banked hard to clear the target area. Behind him, waves of Bostons from 88th, 107th, and 226th Squadrons unleashed their payloads. High explosives tore through rooftops, creating entry points for the incendiaries that followed. The factory complex erupted in flames and billowing smoke. 2 minutes later, the Mosquitos of 105th and 139th Squadrons arrived, their superior speed allowing them to weave through gaps in the intensifying anti-aircraft fire. They added their bombs to the inferno with pinpoint accuracy, their agility proving crucial in the increasingly dangerous skies. The Venturas of 21st, 464th, and 487th Squadrons brought up the rear at 12:36 p.m. Their bomb loads, specifically chosen to hinder German firefighting efforts, rained down on the already devastated complex. Phosphorus incendiaries clung to structures, while delayed action bombs threatened to catch first responders. As the last bombs fell on the Phillips complex, Eindhoven was transformed into a hellscape of fire and smoke. The carefully planned combination of high explosives and incendiaries had worked to devastating effect. Vast sections of the factory lay in ruins, with flames leaping from shattered buildings. The local fire services, overwhelmed by the scale of the destruction, struggled to control the spreading inferno. For the Allied air crews, however, the most dangerous part of their mission was just beginning. With their bomb bays empty, they now had to run the gauntlet of enemy defenses to reach the safety of the North Sea. Soon after dropping his bombs, Wing Commander Pelly-Fry's aircraft had been hit by anti-aircraft fire, a shell tearing through his starboard engine and wing. Now, his Boston was trailing smoke and lurching violently, flying at 90 degrees from the ground. Fighting against G-forces, Pelly-Fry wrestled with his bullet-riddled controls, struggling to keep the aircraft from entering a fatal spin. Narrowly avoiding disaster, he gradually brought the wings level, but turning to port proved extremely difficult. The bomber's original escape plan had been to fly north for just a short time before flying westwards across the channel. Now, unable to change direction, Pelly-Fry was forced to continue heading north. Apparently oblivious to the situation, several of the other Bostons followed him past the planned turning point, right towards the busy port of Rotterdam. They soon found themselves having to put their piloting skills to the test as they ducked and dived through a hazardous maze of tall shipping cranes. Luckily, the bombers made it out and back to England in one piece. Meanwhile, as the rest of the Allied aircraft made their break for the coast, a chaotic aerial ballet was unfolding as the Germans now mobilized in force. Swarms of Messerschmitt Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf FW-190 fighters descended on the bomber formation, their guns blazing. In the ensuing aerial melee, the Allied aircraft fought for their lives. The swift, unarmed Mosquitos broke formation, their pilots seeking safer routes home. Some darted northward, while others veered west, their superior speed allowing them to outrun danger. Beyond them, Venturas and the remaining Bostons continued their battle with the Luftwaffe. As FW-190s swooped down relentlessly, the air filled with a cacophony of engine roars, gunfire, and frantic radio chatter. Pilots threw their aircraft into wild maneuvers, narrowly avoiding streams of cannon fire. Rear gunners swiveled frantically, their 303 machine guns chattering defiantly at the pursuing fighters as they desperately tried to overcome the erratic movements and hit their targets. Near the coast, a new peril awaited. Anti-aircraft batteries opened up, their shells creating towering waterspouts in the sea. To the tense air crews skimming just above the waves, each explosion seemed like another aircraft meeting its doom. By 2:30 p.m., the last of the Allied aircraft had crossed back over the North Sea, leaving behind a devastated Eindhoven. As they limped towards their home bases, many trailing smoke or nursing battle damage, the true cost of Operation Oyster became clear. Of the 94 aircraft that had set out that morning, 14 failed to return. 9 Venturas, 4 Bostons, and 1 Mosquito had been lost, representing a casualty rate of nearly 15%. Additionally, 53 aircraft suffered damage, some of it severe. In total, 62 Allied airmen had paid the ultimate price for the mission's success. Despite these losses, the raid achieved its primary objective. Reconnaissance photographs revealed large sections of the Phillips Radio Works reduced to rubble, with many buildings still smoldering days after the attack. The impact on German war production was significant, taking Phillips 6 months to fully restore operations. This dealt a severe blow to the German electronics industry at a critical juncture in the war. Operation Oyster left an indelible mark on both Allied and Axis powers. For the Allies, it demonstrated the potential of daylight precision bombing, a tactic that would be increasingly employed as the war progressed. The success bolstered morale and provided valuable lessons for future raids deep into enemy territory. On the German side, the attack exposed vulnerabilities in their air defense network, forcing a re-evaluation of strategies for protecting crucial industrial targets. However, the raid also had unintended consequences. An estimated 150 Dutch civilians lost their lives, highlighting the ethical complexities of strategic bombing and the difficulty of avoiding collateral damage, even in precision raids. For the men of No. 2 Group, Operation Oyster stood as a testament to their skill, courage, and determination. In the face of daunting odds, they had delivered a crippling blow to the enemy. Their success served as a model for future precision bombing raids, helping pave the way for Allied victory in the skies over Europe. Today, Operation Oyster is recognized as one of the most daring and successful precision bombing raids of World War II. Dark Skies would like to thank InVideo AI for its sponsorship. Remember, InVideo AI V3 is launching soon to take your video creation to supersonic speeds. Click on the link in the description now to experience their current version for free. And don't forget, paid plans start at just $20 a month, and you can use our code DARKSKIES50 to double the video creation minutes in your first month. Let your creativity reach the stratosphere with InVideo AI.